It's a simple task, surely. Just go to some ruins and find out what happened to them.
Healer says the Master is killing me. I'm going home to Skyrim to die. You got your life ahead of you. Gods be with you.
Hurry, last boat to Salstein.
Welcome. Please don't be shy. I'm listening.
The blue plates are nice, but the brown ones seem to last longer.
Morrowind is filled with hundreds of quests ranging from picking flowers to defeating ancient godlike beings. There is a little bit of something for everyone. What I love about Bethesda's games in general is this unlimited freedom to explore the world any way we want it. And as much as I love all those small daily routine type of quests that give Morrowind much needed depth and immersion, there's no denying that game is most memorable for its epic, challenging quests. And today we are going to talk about some of them. I chose 5 epic quests that take the player on a grand journey. They aren't ranked, and the list is, as always, pretty subjective. I simply chose 5 quests that to me felt not only most epic, but adventurous and exciting. In some cases, they may not even be the most challenging ones, but they have that old-fashioned element of a journey into the unknown. So let's begin. My name is Alec, and thank you for watching. The Patchwork Airship is a quest added by a Blood Moon DLC. To start, we have to talk to a Breton mage, Louis Beauchamp, excuse my Breton, standing all confused just outside Aldrune's Mages Guild. Now, for most players, this is going to be their first encounter with the Blood Moon DLC content, as Louis is the only new NPC added to Vvardenfell, besides of course Sawir, the shipmaster. So there is a good chance of noticing him upon arriving to Aldrune, because, well, he is a new guy in town, and what a guy he is. From the very beginning, it's obvious that Louis is suffering some kind of speech disfluency. For example, this is how he greets the player.
Oh, hello. Hi. That is nice to know. Meet you. For a second, I thought you were the courier, with a message. That is, with word of, my airship. Wait, is that it? Up there, in the sky, there? Oh, no, it's just a cliff racer. Yeah.
I think the writers had a lot of fun writing his dialogues, and Bretons in general have some of the quirkiest characters in Morrowind, which is why I couldn't take them seriously for the longest time. But going back to Louis, he will talk about his lost airship, appropriately named Patchwork Airship, and he wants someone to find it. And that someone is, of course, us. But what is this airship exactly and where to find it? According to Louis, airship was built from scavenged Dwemer parts and supported by a few long-lasting levitation spells. Honestly, it was quite a genius idea to have an airship in-game. It fits the Morrowind's overall strange and, at times, slightly steampunkish aesthetics. And airships do exist in the Elder Scrolls universe. Or at least they used to, as they are mentioned in books and seen on ancient Dwemer schematics. My guess is that Louis' version is but a simple, cheap replica of a Dwemer construct. But still, I don't think that many mages found in Morrowind could build an airship and supply it with a strong enough long-lasting levitation spells. So I guess underneath that insecure, confused persona lies more than a capable mage and engineer. And Louis also seems to be doing quite well financially, as he hired an entire crew to fly his airship. They were to fly far north to Solstheim on a mission to retrieve the Amulet of Infectious Charm. So all of that for some amulet? Guess it's some really powerful item. Well, it's time to find it. And here's the catch, no one exactly knows where is this airship. And if it reached Solstheim, it could be anywhere on the island. Our only reference is that the amulet is in a place called Hrothmund's Barrow, which again doesn't mean a lot to us right now. However, Louis will have something to say about the barrow's location.
Hrothmund's Barrow is a grave, well, crypt. It is said to lie, that is, the barrow is at the eye, of the wolf. There's a formation, you see, rock, ice, that sort of thing, shaped like a wolf. The wolf that killed Hrothmund. He's said to be, entombed. At the wolf's eye. It's only visible from the sky. Or, well, an airship. That's why I built it. Build the airship, hire the crew, they find the barrow and recover the amulet. Then they bring it to me. Perfect plan, I thought.
If we accept to help Louis, and I don't see really why we wouldn't, he will provide us with one more very useful information. You see, there's a secret password required to enter the barrow, as it's magically sealed.
Wait, did you say you would help me? Why, that's Splen. I mean, oh, wonderful. As I said, the airship was headed north to Solstheim. The Amulet of Infectious Charm is, well, it's supposed to be in Hrothmund's Barrow, at the Eye of the Beast, the wolf, I mean, but you must say the wolf's name to enter. Say, Ondjaga. Answer wrong, and the barrow will be sealed forever?
And he's right about that. Barrow will be sealed forever if given the wrong answer. I guess Louis really did his homework on Hrothmund's Barrow. Alright, so we are finally ready for a great northern adventure. Our task is to first locate the lost airship, then find Hrothmund's Barrow and the Amulet of Infectious Charm inside, and finally return to Louis Beauchamp for our reward. It doesn't sound simple at all, and in fact it isn't, especially if you are new to Morrowind. Wandering Solstheim isn't exactly as relaxing as it may sound. Unless you're role-playing a witch hunter on a crusade against hundreds of witches, werewolves, insane wolf-headed barbarians, spriggans always eager to shred you into pieces, and a whole ton of hungry wildlife, chances you won't find it very fun. Except for the Imperial Fort at the very south and a small skull village at the very north, there aren't any civilized, welcoming locations, shops, and inns. It's just you on the wildest polar ride of your life. First time I played this quest was very long ago, before the online guides. I don't think I even had a stable internet connection at that time. So everything I managed to find in game felt special and rewarding, and finding the airship wreckage was one of the most rewarding moments. Airship can be found somewhere in the central part of the island, slightly to the west, beneath the barren Moesring Mountains. Another way to find it is going straight west from the Altar of Trond. There will be pieces of Dwemer machinery laying around, as well as crates containing supplies and the bodies of unfortunate crew members. And of course, the airship itself is interesting to behold. It's a unique construct offering a glimpse into Tamriel's past. I could only imagine entire fleets of masterfully crafted Dwemer airships cruising across the skies so many millennia ago. In any case, near the body of airship's captain, Roberto Jodoin, lies a journal called simply Airship Captain's Journal. Returning it to Louis will grant us a bonus reward, but reading it will help us understand what exactly happened. And it's actually a fun read, at least until the point when they crashed and froze to death. I'm not going to be reading it here, but basically the crew did found the Hrothmund's Barrow, but got into a very bad blizzard while looking for a spot to land. So the airship crashed and most of the crew died immediately, and the rest of them succumbed to the cold. Captain Roberto died last, even managing to build a small camp, but hunger and the cold got him in the end. It's a chilling story of people who died bravely while on a dangerous mission to the far north, attempting to retrieve the amulet. And speaking of the amulet, the wolf stone formation must be nearby, with the barrow apparently located in its eye. Well, Journal will mention the eye of the wolf as being towards the eastern end of the formation, when in fact it's in the western end. I don't know if it's a mistake or another case of game giving us wrong direction on purpose. This is Morrowind after all, and anything is possible. Hrothmund's barrow will be guarded by a dangerous snow wolf outside, and even more dangerous Draugr inside. By the way, Morrowind's Draugrs are pure nightmare fuel, moving surprisingly fast through dark, hunting barrows. They are really scary. And there, next to this awesome axe, which is part of another separate quest, lies the Amulet of Infectious Charm. This amulet caused Louis Beauchamp to construct a fully working Dwemer airship, research local lore on how to enter Hrothmund's barrow, and hire an entire crew to fly there all the way to Solstheim, which cost him probably thousands of septims. And not to say that entire crew ended up dead in a tragic accident. So, what does this amulet do? Well, it fortifies personality. Yep, you heard it right. And not only that, you see, there's a reason why it's called Infectious Charm, as it also increases risk of common disease and drain fatigue. In other words, wearing this amulet will make you charming at the cost of getting sick and feeling tired. I just have to ask, couldn't Louis save all this time, effort, money, and lives of many people by simply buying a stock of Telvannic bug masks? So anyways, returning to Louis with the news of crashed airship and death of entire crew, he will say the following.
The airship crashed, smashed, was dashed into the mountains? Horrible, horrible. Such a loss of time. And money. Oh yes, yes, human life too. Mustn't forget the crew. People, after all. Well, I am thankful. Grateful, really, that you've come to me with this information. And, incredible work with the finding, that is, the recovery of, the Amulet of Infectious Charm. My thanks. Here, please, have this gold.
Louis will give us 2,000 septims if we return both the journal and the amulet, and with that, our task is complete. However, this isn't the last of Louis Beauchamp, as we will have a chance of meeting him again a few days later. Apparently with much greater success with the ladies, and this is what he has to say.
Aha, my old friend, wonderful to see you again. Did I ever tell you how magnificently you performed your duties? Locating the airship, returning the amulet? Simply marvelous. Thanks to you, Louis Beauchamp is an absolute lady killer. Blondes, brunettes, redheads, I'll take them all. And they can't resist me? Ha! It's a shame I've got this fever. It's starting to slow me down. Well, got to run. I've got a hot date.
So, it looks like Louis Beauchamp finally got what he wanted. But at what cost? It's not only the crew members whose bodies are laying frozen in the middle of Solstheim. Louis is obviously severely diseased and is spreading whatever he got all around the city while totally oblivious of it. You know, the more I think about this quest, the more it feels like it's all the doing of this mysterious amulet. It belonged to Hrothmund, chieftain who was supposedly extremely ugly, but still had a lot of luck with the ladies, thanks to the amulet, of course. But who made the amulet? And why adding those nasty negative effects? In many ways, amulet feels like a Daedric artifact with its sole purpose of charming innocent, weak-minded victims into spreading disease. Well, it's time to leave Louis Beauchamp to his fate and thank him for an interesting quest. Compared to the Patchwork Airship, Silent Pilgrimage is a very simple quest, yet so wonderfully complex simply because there are so many different ways to complete it. Morrowind encourages creativity and letting players decide how to do certain things, and Silent Pilgrimage is one of the best examples to prove that point. And at the same time, Morrowind respects patience, which is again best proved by doing this quest. So, what is a silent pilgrimage? It is a quest given to us by Endrin Letton, a Dwemer monk and a master of the Tribunal Temple. He is a high-ranking member of the temple, working in close proximity to Vivec himself. Endrin will ask us to perform a pilgrimage from the city of Vivec, located at the very south of Vvardenfell, to the Sanctus Shrine, located right here on the island in the Sheogorath region, very far away across the entire map. However, pilgrimage is only the half of our job. You see, it's called silent pilgrimage for a reason. In order to complete the pilgrimage successfully, we are not allowed to speak to anyone during the journey, which means we cannot use fast travel service or barter, since they require conversation. It's a pretty creative way to force players to walk across the entire map without relying on trading. All you can use is what's inside your inventory or things that you may find along the way. Needless to say, journey on foot across Vvardenfell isn't easy, regardless of your character's level. Because if it's not a test of your fighting or sneaking skills, it will be, at the very least, a test of patience. Running drains your fatigue, and with it, your combat skills suffer efficiency. So things like swinging swords, casting spells, everything depends on how refreshed you are. I mean, Morrowind goes so far that even fatigue affects speechcraft. Players can choose the road to Sanctus Shrine. I believe that the road most traveled is the one going through the western central side of Vvardenfell, as it's generally considered less dangerous. This road will lead a player from the green and pleasant gardens of Ascadia to Balmora, and then going northwards to Caldera. This portion of the pilgrimage is, in my opinion, less intense and worthy of, let's say, introspection. It's okay to relax, get in tune with your character. The whole experience of not being able to talk to anyone for a prolonged period of time was strangely exhilarating, as I generally avoided towns, so I don't accidentally trigger a dialogue with anyone. I found myself observing surrounding nature, refreshing in the cool waters of Odai River, just enjoying the silence. I also focused on honing some of my forgotten skills, like alchemy and archery. I'm still very bad at it, though. But like I said, it's okay to just relax. Meditate in the night on the mysteries of Lorkhan. Eat some juicy guar steak. Sleep on the flowers. Who knows, achieve chim and realize that it's all just a dream, bro. Alright, I went too far. Anyhow, following the road north of Caldera, things may get a bit more serious. Players may choose to go directly north to Aldrune, although my choice is continuing through the western highlands of West Gash, which will take us all the way to Kuul. West Gash is dotted with Daedric ruins and dangerous creatures, but at least it offers some nice scenery. Once we arrive Kuul, things become a little bit more complicated, unless we have a steady supply of water walking potions or spells. And levitation is also acceptable, because there is a long swim to the island of Sanctus Shrine, and waters around here are probably the most dangerous in the entire game, filled with drags and slaughterfishes of all sizes. There is another option requiring less swimming, but for that we will have to travel through the ashlands from Aldrune towards the Urshilaku camp. I generally avoid ashlands unless I'm in a dire need of fighting blighted man-eating beasts. But in the end, it's your choice. As I said, everyone is free to decide their own path to the shrine. And that's the beauty of it. I prefer to do it the harder, longer way, but there are, of course, ways to quote-unquote cheat. For example, casting Mark spell on the site before activating the quest, or using a series of divine and CV interventions. Everything is possible, of course, and players are, after all, encouraged to be creative. But I believe that in its essence, Quest Silent Pilgrimage offers quite a unique adventure. The one that tests our creativity, patience and wisdom. You really have to love the game in order to do it, or if it's your first time, I guess this is a fine way to find out if Morrowind is the right game for you. Okay, before I even start, I'll admit right away that Mystery of the Dwarves isn't technically a single quest. Thus, it could be considered a cheat, but let me try to explain myself. There's this weird thing that I always felt the whole topic of disappearance of the dwarves was Morrowind's secret main quest, and it's probably influenced by my first playthrough, when everything in the game was new. And this entire story about dwarves or Dwemer who just went missing one day really left a huge impact on me. The way game presented it, I honestly felt that we're about to discover the truth, solve this big mystery. And as we all know, we never did that. And I really love the game for doing that. I'm one of those who think that it's better to leave some things hidden. I don't want every mystery or secret within the Elder Scrolls universe solved and offered to us on a plate. But with that said, the whole quest about investigating what happened to the Dwemer felt like a big mystery-solving Indiana Jones-style adventure, and I loved every single second of it. So where to even begin? I guess we can start from this guy. Meet Trebonius Artorius, Archmage of the Mages Guild in Vvardenfell, a powerful battle mage with somewhat questioning leadership skills. Actually, let's just say it outright. Artorius is mad, like insane. But not in a crazy kind of way. Trebonius just seems to be not rooted in reality. As an Archmage, he will give the player in total 2 quests, and both are really strange, in the lack of better words. As soon as we join the Mages Guild, he will send us on a quest to find about the disappearance of the Dwarves. He will say the following.
Duties, you say? Yes, there are several things the Mages Guild needs done. Let's see. Find out about the disappearance of the Dwarves? Yes, that's an excellent task for you.
So he just casually sent us on a quest to discover the greatest mystery on Tamriel. How ambitious. And unfortunately, he won't give us any clue as to where to actually start from. However, if we re-enter dialogue with Trebonius and ask him about our duties again, he is going to suggest talking to Edwina in Aldrune, and that will be our first clue. Edwina Elbert is a Breton mage found in Aldrune's chapter of the Mages Guild.
Welcome. Please don't be shy. I'm listening.
And she has a great interest in studying Dwemer culture, which is why Trebonius sent us to her. Now, Edwina will send us on a series of Dwemer-related quests, which at first seem not related to Trebonius' quest, however, indirectly they are. So, as a part of the Mystery of the Dwarves quest, we will have to complete Edwina's smaller tasks. Specifically, we will have to obtain 3 Dwemer books, which can be found in 3 different Dwemer ruins. The trick is, these are not the books Edwina will ask for, so it's up to us to find them and keep them. I always loved hunting for rare and even unique Dwemer books, they just look so interesting. And the first Dwemer book is Hanging Gardens of Western Corridale, found in the ruins of Nuchulefting in the central Molag-Amur region. There will be an expedition led by Senilius Cadusus and his daughter Pania. As for Edwina's part of the quest, we are sent to get the official excavation report, which is, surprise surprise, missing together with a local guide, Anas Vendu. So, after some dungeon delving, we will find both the report and the dead guide at a lower level. But more important for our story, book Hanging Gardens is also located at a lower level. After this, Edwina will ask us to retrieve scarab plants in Muzuleft, a large Dwemer ruin near Dagonfell. This will be a somewhat riskier operation as Muzuleft is currently taken over by a group of rather hostile orcs. And as you know, hostile orcs are always trouble. Scarab plants will be easy to find, however, a thing to note here is that we also need to get the famous The Egg of Time book, which is a second required book for our main task, and this one is on a table in the western room. Third and final Dwemer book is Divine Metaphysics, and this one lies in a newly discovered Dwemer ruin of Betamez, hidden within Agnis's egg mine. As for Edwina, she will request us to find the Dwemer airship plans, same ones we just talked about earlier today. Egg mine is located on the eastern hill, overlooking the village of Gnisis. Getting inside might prove a bit tricky as it's closed due to a recent case of blight infestation. In one way or another, we're gonna have to convince a guard, Vatolia Apo, to let us in. Unless we are the members of the Legion, in which case we can just freely walk in. Dwemer ruin is found on the lower level, and we will have to deal with the hostile Kwama warriors and a grumpy orc guard. Once inside the ruin, finding both Divine Metaphysics and Airship Plan won't be too difficult. And once we collect all 3 Dwemer books, we are ready to move on to the next stage of our mysterious quest of a mystery of the Dwarves. All we need to do is find a person to translate them. And Edwina seems like a logical first choice, since she is after all an expert in all things Dwemer. However, she won't be that very helpful and will instead point us towards someone who is even more knowledgeable in Dwemer culture. And who might that be? That's right, Hasfat Antabolus, a well-known man with a rather mysterious background. You see, Antabolus is one of the key figures in this secret epic questline, but he is much better known as the guy asking us to retrieve the infamous Dwemer puzzle box. And Antabolus is, without question, Vvardenfell's leading expert on Dwemer history, at least when it comes to man. Which is somewhat weird, because he poses as a simple apprentice and a drill master at the Fighters Guild. Yet Antabolus even managed to publish a book, Dwemer History and the Culture, found in both Oblivion and Skyrim. What's interesting is that even prior to activating this quest, at the very beginning of the game, after giving him the Dwemer puzzle box, Antabolus will encourage us to visit Senilius Caduceus to learn about the Dwemer history. And this is why at the beginning I said that this entire quest, Mystery of the Dwarves, in reality consists of several smaller plots, all entwined into a single big mystery storyline. It's really awesome if you ask me, and I still consider it Morrowind's unofficial or a secret main questline. But going back to the story, if we ask Antabolus about the disappearance of the dwarves, he will give us this rather official sounding answer.
The disappearance of the dwarves predates imperial written records. Dwemer oral accounts record that the Dwemer were utterly destroyed by the gods for profane practices and impiety. Dwarven ruins are scattered across Tamriel, and weapons, armor, housewares, coins, and other items of Dwemer design are often found, but the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of the dwarves remains one of Tamriel's greatest mysteries.
And if our disposition with Antabolus is high enough, he will share plenty of other information regarding the Dwemer culture. For example, his friend Senilius Caduceus is searching for a book that may be a translation key to help him decipher Dwemer language. And that's all fine, however, we need a translator, and looks like even Antabolus won't be able to help. And luckily, Antabolus will give us a small hint as to who might be of better help. If we ask him about the specific topic of the Egg of Time, he will say,
"This Egg of Time is certainly very suggestive. I fear I'm not quite able to piece together what is going on. You might want to take these books to another Dwemer scholar, perhaps one of the older Telvanni."
And now we are free to leave Antabolus. As both him and Edwina weren't able to provide a full, satisfactory answer to our mystery, we are once again left in the dark. And visiting Senilius again won't help either. Our only clue given to us by Antabolus was to find someone even older, a Telvanni who is also a Dwemer scholar. And finding the right person can be frustrating unless, of course, we know where to look for. And we don't even have to travel to one of the Telvanni settlements, as the scholar we are looking for is right here in Gnisis. That's right, none other than Baladas Damnevan, a 2000 years old true leading expert on all things Dwemer. Now, if we come to him with all 3 Dwemer books, and if our disposition is high enough, which can be somewhat tricky as Telvanni aren't the friendliest bunch, but again, if and only if we meet all these requirements, Baladas will reward us with some of the most potent bits of metaphysical lore I've seen in any Elder Scrolls game. On the very topic of disappearance of the dwarves, Baladas will say,
"It was unfashionable among the Dwemer to view their spirits as synthetic constructs, 3, 4, or 40 creational gradients below the divine. During the Dawn era, they researched the death of the earth bones, what we call now the laws of nature, dissecting the process of the sacred, willing itself into the profane. I believe their mechanists and tonal architects discovered systematic regression techniques to perform the reverse, that is, to create the sacred from the deaths of the profane."
Alright, we are warming up now. As for the secrets of the Dwemer language, Baladas will have this to say.
"The Dwemer language is unknown, perhaps unknowable. Some Dwemer books, especially records dating from after the founding of Resdayn, were written in Aldmeris, making them accessible to modern scholars. However, even in Aldmeris, many Dwemer terms remain uncertain. As the books and other artifacts in Dwemer ruins rarely show signs of wear or age, I believe that the Dwemer knew of a preservative effect, perhaps a device still active which denies or controls the earth bones governing time and decay.
Now, moving on to the mystery of the dwarves topic, with all 3 books in our inventory, Belades will comment.
Yes, I can now translate these books. This first one is Bituan Mizanche's refutation of a popular theory from Nerevar's time. A few tones of Dwemer believed that using the power Lorkhan's heart was an unjustifiable risk. The Egg of Time contains Bituan's arguments against this idea, many of which are quite compelling. The next book, Divine Metaphysics, is an explanation of how the Dwemer tried to make a new god, Anumidium, using Kagranak's tools and the sacred tones on Lorkhan's heart.
And with that, we are finally ready to report back to Trebonius. I will just add that there's also an optional path. After obtaining all 3 books, we can also speak to Yagrum Bagarn, the last living Dwemer residing in Divide Sphere Tower. Yagrum will offer some additional thoughts, of course, but overall, they won't add much from what we already learned from Belades. Trebonius will naturally act as he understands what it's all about and thank us for successfully completing this seemingly impossible task.
Oh, let me see these books. Oh yes, of course, this Egg of Time is quite obvious in its, descriptions of the things that happened. Yes, of course. It is all quite clear to me. I would prefer that you wrote a report that, simplified your findings, but I trust that you have indeed solved the mystery.
The beauty of the Mystery of the Dwarves quest lies in its secrecy and subtlety, the way it's composed of several seemingly independent stories and characters, all building towards the same impossible goal, uncovering one of Tamriel's greatest mysteries. All along the journey, we uncover small pieces of the puzzle, while performing tasks for others, always feeling as we are almost there, yet never truly reaching for that definitive answer. I remember being so excited to discover this great enigma, and in the end, I never felt disappointed. We do learn a lot, even if it's only a small piece of a much larger picture. We learn just enough to know that something truly extraordinary happened on that day when all Dwemer disappeared. Something that's truly beyond our comprehension, thus not for us to find out. And again, I love the game for doing that. It entertained my imagination, made the Elder Scrolls universe so much more exciting and mysterious, while taking me on this long, memorable Indiana Jones-style journey. Sometimes best quests come unexpected, over a drink at some local inn, and such is the case of Ennbjof's Nord burial. You see, there's a good chance for a player to miss this entire adventure as it happens so randomly. It is given to us by a Nord commoner, Ennbjof, staying at the Lizard's Head, an inn in the Telvanni canton of Vivec. Ennbjof is fatally ill, and he has a secret to share, a story, but only if we share a drink with him, a drink that may as well be his last. So let's listen to Ennbjof's little story.
Thanks for the must. Such generosity should be repaid. You know the Nord once ruled this land, don't you? Back when these dark elves were squatting around campfires in Nick's skins? Back in the First Age, when the sons of Harold Handfree ruled the northern coasts of Tamriel during the Skyrim conquests. Well, I bet you didn't know Olmgerd the Outlaw, Harold's bastard, was buried as befits a Nord lord's son, in his ship, in a tomb deep in the Mother Rock. And of course they buried Stormkiss with him. Stormkiss was Olmgerd's enchanted battle axe. And you see this old key? See what it says on it? Stormkiss. Here, take it. Healer says the Mazti is killing me. I'm going home to Skyrim to die. You got your life ahead of you. Go ahead, take it. They say they buried Olmgerd in the bottom of an ancient Dunmer tomb. From the Skald's telling, the burial was on a long finger of land on the southeast coast of Vvardenfell, on a little island close to shore on the west coast of the peninsula. Figure it's somewhere on the stretch between the Daedric ruins at Zainteraris and Tel Branora. Gods be with you, and thanks for the Mazte.
After this, old Ennbjof will leave for Skyrim, never to be seen again. And before we move on, I always wondered what's he doing in Telvanni district exactly. Most foreigners stay in, well, foreign quarters, and it feels kinda strange seeing him among the Telvanni. It could be that he was looking for a cure to his fatal illness, and Telvanni being mages, maybe he thought they could cure whatever he got. In any case, with the rusty key in our hands, all we can do is attempt to find the legendary Nord burial, apparently laying in the middle of Morrowind. I'm going to be honest, I spent a lot of time searching for the tomb, and once we find it, it kinda makes sense as it really does stand between the Daedric ruin of Zaintiraris and Tel Branora, on a small island. But Morrowind has this wonderful ability of confusing one's navigational skills with its ragged, inhospitable terrain, as well as carefully placed locations. But as we said previously, Morrowind is all about patience and hopefully some wisdom, and with a little bit of both, one should be able to find the Marvani ancestral tomb. It's an ordinary Dwemer tomb with an ordinary secret. As we fight our way through the tomb guarded by tough champion skeletons, we will find some heavily locked doors. Behind them, a long series of stairways descending for what seems like eternity. There are in total 9 levels or floors until we finally reach some doors. So we are really deep underground at this point. And behind these doors lies the hidden cave of Tuku Chapel. It's a truly unique place in all of Morrowind. This whole area reminded me of Skyrim's Black Reach, or should I say vice versa, in a sense that we go deep underground and suddenly there's this whole open, unfamiliar area ahead of us. Granted, Tuku Chapel perhaps isn't as extravagant as Black Reach on the first sight or second, but it offers many interesting things, so let's explore it. There is this maze with high walls, guarded by more skeleton champions. They had to be standing there for thousands of years, in cold, shallow water, gazing into the void, so it's okay to end their cursed existence. And since we are in Morrowind, feel free to just levitate across the entire area, it's much easier that way. At the end of our little labyrinth, we will find another door, leading to the very heart of the ancient Nordic tomb. Behold, tomb of Ongerd the Outlaw, the son of King Harald Handfree, 13th in the line of Isgramor. Ongerd the Outlaw is buried according to ancient Nord rituals, all together with his boat and lots of treasure. Of course, everything is free for taking, and I'll only mention some of the loot found here. Ongerd himself wears, interestingly enough, Imperial Dragonscale cuirass, matching helm and a Dragonscale Tower shield. There's a bottle of ancient Daggett brandy next to him, worth 1,500 drakes. Also, enchanted silver sword, ebony bracers, and Ongerd's personal weapon, a mighty two-handed axe, Stormkiss, dealing extra shock damage of 25 points per strike. There is, however, a hidden area, available only through levitation. All the way up in a corner is a really secluded small space filled with a soothing crystal light, containing a chest and 2 extremely valuable Daedric items. First one is a unique Daedric Face of God, and needless to say, encountering Daedric items in Morrowind is always a treat. They are truly rare and most rewarding items, and this Warhammer is a true behemoth, weighing almost 100 units. Its value is 30,000 septims and deals an incredible amount of raw damage of 70 points. All in all, not bad for a price of a single master. In the end, it's too bad that Ennbjof won't be there to find about our discovery. We don't even know how that old Sea Reaver got into possession of that old key, but in any case, we can at least raise our cup in his name one last time. Depending on who you ask, Pilgrimage of the Seven Graces is one of the most famous or infamous quests in Morrowind. All that needs to be done to start it is simply reading the book, The Pilgrim's Path, even without joining the temple. However, anyone planning to join the Tribunal Temple is obliged to perform the pilgrimage before actually doing any of the quests. And because it needs to be performed at the very beginning of the temple's questline, players are often doing it at a low level, which can make it more challenging. What's also unique is that each of the 7 pilgrimages requires a certain task. Quest has few of the most memorable moments in game and takes us again all across Vvardenfell. And best way to start it is to simply follow book's instructions. First pilgrimage is called Grace of Humility, and shrine is located at the fields of Kumu, west of Suran, on the north shore of Lake Amaya. It can be difficult to locate as the shrine is somewhat hidden between 2 rocks. an offering of muck is required, and luckily muck can be either harvested or, even better, bought from various merchants. Once we activate the shrine, we will be blessed with a strong, long-lasting feather effect. Lore-wise, this is a shrine where Vivek met a poor farmer whose guar had died. So it is said that Vivek then removed his fine clothes and toiled in the fields like a beast of burden until the crop was harvested. Thus, he showed humility. Second pilgrimage is the Shrine of Daring, found outside the southwest corner of the Temple Canton in Vivek. It's related to the legend of Bar Dao, a famous moon hovering over the city. According to the legend, the moon was hurled down by Sheogorath himself in an attempt to destroy the city of Vivek, claiming that it's built as a mockery of the heavens. Vivek stopped it with a single gesture, and the moon, overwhelmed by his courage and daring, swore itself to eternal service of the tribunal. It is customary to leave behind a potion of rising force, and once the shrine is activated, we will be blessed with a powerful levitation effect of 100 points for exactly 24 minutes. Shrine of Generosity is also located in Vivek, found just outside the entrance to the palace. This one is quite simple, as all we have to do is donate 100 drakes, in return for a blessing of 45 mercantile and luck for 10 points. The Shrine of Courtesy is a third shrine located in Vivek and our fourth pilgrimage. This one is a bit more challenging, as we have to enter the puzzle canal located under the palace. As the name suggests, it's rather easy to get lost, but nothing overly serious. On the third level, we can find a shrine with the following message: "Breathe the waters of His glory, and the way is made clear." In order to get the blessing, we have to first drown ourselves. Yep, you heard it right. And once our health drops under 10 and we are about to drown, there will be a blackout and we will get magically healed. And this will create a bridge towards the shrine and the unique Dremora, Crossed. And Crossed will greet us with the following rather sarcastic line: "As you see, I am unarmed, but you are brave and gallant. Will you give me your long sword so that I may stand a chance against your might?" We have to give him a silver longsword, and no other weapon will do. It has to be a plain silver longsword, and we don't have to actually fight him, as we are now allowed to receive another blessing: water breathing and swift swim, 25 points for 48 minutes. And the story behind this interesting encounter is that during his fight with Mehrunes Dagon, Vivek gave him a silver longsword because he didn't want to fight unarmed foe. And this again apparently impressed Crossed, one of Mehrunes Dagon's servants, so much in fact that he and Vivek now share a bond of courtesy, whatever that means. We can now move on to our fifth pilgrimage, which will take us all the way to Gnisis. Inside the Gnisis temple is a shrine of justice and a holy relic known as Vivek's Ash Mask, or simply Mask of Vivek. As the story goes, when Dagot-Ur awakened beneath the fires of Red Mountain, Vivek led refugees fleeing from Ash and Blight to the town of Gnisis. After resting for a while, Vivek woke up only to find himself and the refugees encased in casts of grey ash, frozen and unable to move. Then, I quote, "Vivek was filled with despair. Vivek's tears weakened his ash cast. He tore the ash from his perished followers, breathed life into their lungs, and cured them from the blight." And so, it is customary to leave a potion of cure common disease at the shrine. As for the blessing, we will actually find out that displayed mask is fake and that the real one lies hidden within. Touching the real Vivek's Ash Mask will teach us a spell, Vivek's Touch, granting a powerful spell of Cure Common Disease and Cure Blight Disease on touch. The Shrine of Valor, needed for a sixth pilgrimage, is located inside the Coal Cave, south of Gnisis. It can be difficult to locate as it's almost hidden within rocks, but again, it's due south of Gnisis and west of Dwemer's stronghold, Berandas. It's a dangerous place, but at the same time one of the most popular holy sites, for a very good reason. You see, this is a place where Vivek had a very famous duel with the enigmatic Ruddy Man. A battle so epic in fact that it created the Vast Gash region. As for the identity of the Ruddy Man, there are rather complex theories out there, but for this time, let's just say that he is a mythical monster related to Dregs and Moloch Baal. To activate the shrine, we will need the drag wax, which can be either bought or taken from a dead drag. Lower level characters will probably prefer to buy it, as Call Cave is inhabited by a quite strong, unique level 20 drag warlord. However, those willing to recreate the legendary battle and slay powerful drag warlord will be rewarded with an enchanted drag Cuirass with 10 points fortify endurance effect. It's pretty cool if you ask me. And the Shrine Blessing will fortify unarmored, light armor, medium armor and heavy armor. 10 points for 48 minutes. Alright, we are left with one last pilgrimage, and this one will be the most challenging, again, depending on the character's level. Our task is to bring a soul gem of any kind to the Shrine of Pride found within the Ghost Fence, just northeast of the Ghost Gate itself. I usually approach the Ghost Fence traveling northeast from Aldrune, but others may choose some other path. Since the shrine is located within the Ghost Fence, we have to pass through the gate, which means that we are now basically on our own, in a war zone. Luckily, shrine isn't that far away, however, there will be a chance of encountering a blighted creature, and they can be bothersome, especially for inexperienced players. All we have to do is offer a soul gem and receive a blessing, fortify magicka 50 points and shield 25 points for 48 minutes. As for the meaning behind the Shrine of Pride, it's all related to the Ghost Fence, and I quote, as a lasting symbol of the indomitable will and power of Almsivi, and a monument to Dwemer pride in overcoming its enemies. And with that, Pilgrimage of the Seven Graces is finally complete. Quest itself is fun and valuable simply because it will introduce a lot of Dwemer lore, especially to a newcomer. Even if we take all the stories of Vivek's heroic deeds as mere legends, they reflect 3rd era Dwemer mindset, and especially that of a tribunal temple which dominates large areas of Vvardenfell. By simply performing them, we will learn about local customs, mentality, geography, history, and at the same time, local people will like us a little bit more. Not to mention all the cool blessings that often last an entire in-game day. In many ways, this quest is almost synonymous with Morrowind the game, at least in my eyes. It's all about the weird, semi-historical lore, as it blends reality and mythology. Did Vivek really turn himself into a guar to help some farmer? And what's the deal with a Daedra standing in a puzzle canal for who knows how many years, centuries, millennia? Or a quest forcing us to actually drown our own character? All of this screams Morrowind with its weird tales. And I hope you guys liked my selection of 5 epic quests. Let me know in the comment if you have your own favorite, or share an opinion on the ones I talk about today. With that said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.
I shouldn't have pushed so hard.